We are discussing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the nectarian words from the mouth of the Supreme Himself, and to a qualified, highly qualified student Arjuna. And in that sixth chapter, we were discussing, yesterday we saw the 23rd sloka of sixth chapter. We are discussing the whole chapter, which is named as Yoga of Meditation. All the tricks, all the state of meditation, the tricks how to reach that state of meditation, and after reaching there, what happens to a achiever, and all these in details Lord Krishna is explaining to Arjuna, and therein we discussed yesterday tam vidyad dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga sangitam sanischayena yuktabhyo yogo nirvina chetasa. Let that be known by the name of yoga, that state, that steady state of the achiever, in the end which is achieved by the seeker. That is known as yoga. The term yoga is given to it. The severance from union with pain. This yoga should be practiced with determination and with an undesponding mind. The mind should be firm. That means the willpower, the tenacity should be very strong. You should not feel any uncomfortable by failures or by disturbance in the way, but you should be always sticking to your path, and finally this state is sure to be attained. Today we shall see further Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman Styaktva Sarvan Asesatah Manasai Indriya Gramam Manasai Indriya Gramam Viniyamya Samantatah. Yesterday we saw the exact road map, and when you see a person studies some history or geography, he should have a map before him. All the historic incidents happened that is concerned with geographical data. Say there was Panipat battle, history says. So where is Panipat? You must know it. So it is a geographical study. So history, geography, they go by side. And that's how we should have a map wherein we see all the situation in the map, so that we can remember where, what happened, at what time, in what conditions. So everything should go together. Now we have the chart Yesterday we have chalked out the plan, what is called mind, what is called intellect, and how is that discriminative mind, what is called discrimination, and ego, and also the subconscious mind, chitta. All these are clearly seen in the map, just as for the student of our medical science, they should have always the chart before him of the network of nerves and bones and the cells, the blood, and everything, where what happens, the organs, say heart, kidney, prostate, and anatomy. Anatomy chart should be always before him. Mentally also. Then only he can study everything clearly. So in this way, yesterday we have checked out that plan map. What is called prana, how it is concerned with the working system of the whole body, and how it is concerned with the mind and all the mental process, how the thought waves are created, and how the intellect works its decisive part. All these we have seen yesterday. So now we will not have any difficulty to understand how to control the mind from all sides. With the determinating willpower, I shall control the mind. And who are you then? Who are you then? Just as in Yoga Vasishtha class, Chudala was finding, who am I? Who am I? That is, when we see all these are not I, this map, it is not me. So naturally you are something other than all this. Neither prana, nor mind, nor intellect, nothing, nor the senses, nor the body, nothing you are. So what are you? You are the witnessing something which is not all these. So witnessing identity. Naturally, in that state, you are not all these, so you separate yourself from the body naturally. Your separation from the body, that is called the tie between the conscious and unconscious. Jada granthi, jad chetan granthi, the knot between the awareness, the knowledge part, and the ignorant part, that is jad. So they have been tied up, they have been one. Now you are separated from it, so the knot is naturally opened. You are the witness now. Now he says, abandoning without reserve all desires born of sankalpa, thought and imagination, and completely restraining the whole group of the senses. Whole group of the senses means the karmendriyas and the jnanendriyas, the senses of knowledge and senses of action, by the mind from all sides. The mind should act as a controller comparatively, relatively, for some time. mind will be able to control the senses, and then what will be the process? The mind will be controlled by the superior to mind, that is intellect, and then intellect will be controlled, it will be regularized, or it should be put in rhythm. The waves should be rhythmical and systematical. They should flow in one particular channel. They create a groove. When they are repeatedly repeated again and again, they create a channel, and all the thoughts of the same type, they flow in the same channel. So it becomes very difficult to control the mind and the senses also. Because if mind is without control, the senses naturally will be without control. So in that case, if you put an embankment in the flow of river, what happens? You have to divert in other ways, or else the water will break down your embankment. It has terrific force. The energy, vital energy as a prana, it has to work. It has to work somehow or other. So if you have blocked it somewhere, then what happens? There will be severe reactions. So you have to divert it in other direction. That is, in otherwise, in other terms, in yogic terms, it is said replacement of the wanted good thoughts instead of unwanted bad thoughts. That is called pratipaksha bhavana. So the thoughts will be diverted. That is the trick, skill of yoga. Action is called yoga. Karmasu kausala. So these are very minute points we have to understand clearly how to deal with this terrific mind, which is full of energy. And practically, analytically, when we see it, it is nothing but a very system, only some waves, that is also called energy. And the same mind is prana also. So in that way we have to deal it properly. And then he says, Viniyamya indriya gramam manasehi, by the mind. Indriya gramam, the group of senses, should be controlled. Viniyamya, by controlling it. Samantata, from all sides. From all sides you have to attack the enemy. If you attack from one side, they will hide. They will go and attack you from your back. You cannot do anything. You must know all the whereabouts of the enemy. So you must attack it from all sides. They will not have any way out. It is a battle. And this internal battle is explained to Arjuna in external battlefield. The same ways are adopted to control the outward enemies. And Lord Krishna, before it, he has explained, Kama esa, Krodha esa, Rajo guna samudbhava. mahasana mahapapa vidhi yaha ena bhairinam. These are the real enemies inside. It is creating a hole in you, creating bumpers. क्या हो किसमें जो छिपते हैं bunkers. They will hide in it. Be careful. So from all sides you have to control. Abandoning without reserve all desires. What are the desires? What have we seen yesterday? What are called desires? Some thoughts which has the nature of feeling in itself, the uncompleteness, imperfectness. Those thoughts, because of incompleteness feeling, they want to be complete or perfect by achieving something. So thoughts, how can it be complete? Naturally, these thoughts have the support of senses to contact with the sense objects from which the thoughts, they have the nature, we may get some hope, some completeness, something we can get, and that is called happiness. And this is how the senses are ever engaged to contact the sense objects, to get something, to fulfill the desires. Desires are nothing but the thoughts which are by nature feel incompleteness within itself. Then only it tries to contact the sense objects by the help of the senses to get something, to fulfill the gap. Gap means to be complete, to have completeness by the association or contact with the sense objects. And this process is only assumption, it is not the real process. Why it is not so? Why it is not real process? Why don't we get our desires fulfilled by all this? Because these sense objects are also subject to change every now and then. And with that changing objects, our senses are also flittering all the time. They cannot have contact for a long time continuously with the sense objects. That's why when everything is subject to change, the object and the contact and the senses which keep the contact, everything is changing. So how can these gaps be fulfilled? That is, desires can be fulfilled. No chance. This is why the contact with these sense objects are wrong process. Everything is changing, so nothing is constant here. So by changing process, how can we get that absolute constancy, which is steadiness, which is known as yoga? Know this to be yoga. That is impossible. And we have seen, attaining that state, nothing remains more to be achieved. That is the sanam vanam of the trials. That is the height of heights, after which nothing remains to achieve or known. So that is obtained only by a steady process, not changing process. If this is understood, then it will be easy to control the senses by the mind. Everything should be according to the need of the hour. The senses should be stable. The contact should be stable. That means no contact. And then the thoughts have got no way to be activated, because the prana, the energizing factor, also gets stopped, because no work. When the office is closed now, after the office hours, what happens to the office bearers? When the school is closed now, what happens to the students? Do they remain there for more? They become happy and they get away from the school, no more in the school. So when the prana stops, all these actions stop. Now the school is over, closed for till tomorrow. Abandoning without reserve all desires. Desires are nothing but thought waves which are incomplete, born of sankalpa, thought and imaginations. He has tapped the bottom itself. Thoughts only are understood as desires. They are the root cause, and completely restraining the whole group of the senses, not one, all the 10 senses, by the mind from all sides. The senses, the prana, the desireful thoughts, and the intellect also, mind also, everything is under control. Without reserve, the mind is so diplomatic that it keeps certain desires for its secret gratification. How it is. Therefore, you should completely abandon all desires without reservation. How it keeps something hidingly, afterwards it will be useful. Some desires, you see, the clue is somewhere else. You see, now we are controlling the desires, so the senses and the mind will be controlled, isn't it? This is the method we are discussing. Now, these desires play trick. This is how mind is very crooked. The mind says, I am its lawyer. He has chosen me to be his lawyer. Now you say desires you want to stop, then how can you progress in your life? To attain that steadiness which you call yoga, is it not a desire? How can you abandon all the desires? Let some desires be preserved, they will be helpful afterwards. Then what is your answer? I am its lawyer now. Come on, what do you say? Some desires we have to preserve. To do good and be good Is it not a desire to do something good to you and to others? These are called good conducts. Yama and niyama. You have practiced only with a desire. And how can you abandon all these desires? Some desires are helpful, so let there be some desires. What is the answer for? What is your side? Come on, put your side before the judge. Now, I will take your side. Okay. Give me a little more under the table. I will stand on your side. Yes, my dear, you can keep up some desires. Those desires are called good ones, and they are called praiseworthy. They are called bandya. They are praiseworthy. They are to be admired, those thoughts. They should be preserved, no doubt. And all the bad thoughts are to be abandoned, isn't it? Yes, but it is said you should take care of yourself by yourself. So these desires should help to kill all other negative desires. Do you agree? Let the desires, good desires be preserved. They will be helpful. In what way they should be helpful? They have to help in controlling the lower desires, the negative desires, isn't it? Let them control first. Then what work is remained for these good desires? Desires they cannot keep quiet. What they should achieve? Come on. They should kill themselves. How? Just as the hailstones, just as the human bomb. You should kill yourself to kill many others. Hailstones, it destroys everything, and in the end it disappears. There is no more hailstones now.
So the desire to attend Yoga Vashish and Bhagavad Gita, is it a good desire?
Yes, it is a good desire, but it should be abandoned in the end. It should be killed.
And the desire not to attend Yoga Vashish and Bhagavad Gita, is it a bad desire or a good desire?
That is also good. Absence means presence. We don't have the habit to find fault with anyone. All the desires are good only from our point, because I am standing from good desires side. Let there be desires, but they should be rooted out in the end, because they have this work only. They have to uplift yourself. That means the upliftment means desirelessness, so that you can attain that steady state. So in this way, with it, skip imagination, sankalpa. We have seen it now. Therefore, destroy the sankalpa first. Okay, the other method is given. He has given whether they are good or bad, we don't want any of them. So how to eradicate all of them? They are born of imaginations, sankalpa. So imagination is therefore destroy the sankalpa first. How to destroy the sankalpa? There is a political way, politics, crooked method. Satrun yojayate satrun. To kill the enemies, you have to apply other enemies to fight against them. Let them fight against each other, they will die out. You are saved. Kantake naiva kantakam. When a thorn is pricked to you, you have to bring another thorn and apply against that thorn and throw both of them. That is called politics. Here also that should be applied. So thoughts, of course, good or bad, they should be rooted out from its root itself. So the root is called imagination. Imagination is subtler waves of the thought waves. Just as the ripples are, when magnified, they are called waves. Small waves are called, very small waves are called ripples, and little bigger size, wavelength, wave height, they are called waves. And same waves, when they become still bigger, they are called tides and other storms and many things. So it starts with the very beginning of ripples, means sankalpas. Sankalpa. Sankalpa prabhavan kaman. The formula is given before. You should not forget it. So sankalpa should be rooted out first. And sankalpa are nothing but, from our chart we have seen, it is ripples or very minute wavery system. Let that they be minute or gross or still more grosser, that we don't care. It should be rooted out from its root itself. So how to root it out? There should not be any vibration. Who is going to create the vibrations? You see, the energy is nothing but vibrations. One becomes the other. It transfers to be called something else. Same waves. So prana, of course, is a wavery system. It creates some vibrations and that prompts the other waves which are called sankalpas and then thoughts. So prana should be controlled, under control. That's how after posture in Raja Yoga what we go to do? Pranayam. And then withdrawal of the mind is possible and easier. If the imagination is annihilated first, then the desires will die by themselves. Mark here, all the senses must be controlled from all sides by the mind. Even if one sense is turbulent in one direction, it will distract the mind often and often. If one is left free, it will take you, all the force will go in that way. It will be so turbulent. We have seen the children having one sense less, means either one-eyed or dumb and deaf, or something, one sense is not working. So all other senses become most powerful. Its power is distributed into others. If two senses are not working, and we have seen persons who have no hands, they do everything by two legs. Such is the power of legs, they use it. And if the legs are not working, they walk by the help of the hands. There is a lame lady here in Dunda, she comes very often here. Her legs are not able to walk totally. She is lame. But by the power of hands, she scrolls. Many are there. So in this way, if one sense is left, it accumulates all the powers of all other senses and it becomes so powerful, so turbulent, it will take you anywhere and put you in dungeon. Mark here, all the senses must be controlled from all sides by the mind. Even if one sense is turbulent in one direction, it will distract the mind often and often. The sense will be observed in the mind by the constant practice of abstraction, pratyahar. It should be always practiced. The senses should not be set free. Then the mind will not think of the objects of the sense pleasure and will become perfectly calm. That mind which is endowed with a strong discrimination and dispassion will be able to control the whole ground or whole group of the senses from their objects in all directions. Is explaining it should be attacked from all sides, samantataha, from all sides. That means the sankalpas, the mind and the senses, they should be controlled from all sides by all means and everything together. Therefore, cultivate strong vivek. Vivek is discriminating power. Mainly, vivek discriminates between the perishable and imperishable. That is the final. Up to semi-final, the sharp intellect acts. All the referees, they work, many referees are applied to give the decision in league matches, isn't it? But final will be played by one referee only. That is to decide which is winner and which is loser. That is called discriminating power. That is to decide which is perishable and which is imperishable. That power should be developed. Vivek or discrimination between the real and the unreal, and also vairagya or total dispassion for sensual pleasures should be cultivated strongly. In this way, the meaning of this sloka, abandoning without reserve all desires. All the desires are annihilated now. Born of sankalp. So sankalp is tackled, and completely restraining the whole group of the senses by the mind from all sides. This is how to deal with the mind process. It is not a sudden achievement or action. It is a process, slow and steady process. Sanai sanai ruparamed buddhya dhriti grihitaya atma sanstham manah kritva na kinchidapi chintayet. This is how one should practice it continuously but slowly, regularly but slowly. Slow and steady wins the race. Don't be rapid and sleep in the way. The tortoise will reach the goal soon. Is it? Okay. So he says, Sanai sanai ruparamed buddhya dhriti grihitaya atma sanstham manah kritva na kinchidapi chintayet. Little by little, let him, the seeker, attain to quietude by the intellect held firmly, having made the mind establish itself in the self. Let him not think of anything. So when the sankalpa and thoughts are controlled, it will not have any contact by the senses with the sense objects. Senses are controlled, the thought waves are controlled, sankalpas are controlled. If it is, pardon?
When senses are controlled, there will not be thought waves.
Inwardly there will be manorajya. Inwardly the sankalpas will go on working. So, not only the senses should be controlled, but the sankalpas should be controlled also. Or else they will be working inside. In the sky they will build castles. That is also taking the mind away from the goal. So mind, intellect, sankalpa, the senses, they should be attacked from all sides, means this way. Everybody should be under battlefield. Nobody can rest now. They cannot have a chance to get out from the battlefield. And you will be the winner. So it is a slow process, it is not all of a sudden. So patience is your eternal friend now. Patience is your real friend. You have to have patience and tenacity, nishtha, the continuity. You should not break, you should not be hopeless. Now you are telling you should abandon all the hopes and desires. Now you said don't be hopeless. That means your steadiness on the goal is called not to be hopeless. It is there with you and you will not be torn out from it. That is called not to be hopeless, not to be despondent, not to be dispirited. It is not entertaining the desires, but it is not having hopelessness, means having a firm conviction that you are there. You will achieve, you have achieved. Let not these senses or mind or intellect drag you from there. That is the sense. Sane saneir paramed buddhya dhriti grihitaya. What is called buddhi and what is called dhriti, we shall see tomorrow elaborately. Dhriti, dharana, pragya and all these words are little different from each other, but they mean the absolutely sharpened, purified and sattvic and one-pointed thoughts. They are just near the borderline. In different sense they are termed differently, but they are the state of the absolute sharpness, means subtleness, which are just to be turned into steadiness. That state of the intellect, sharp, pure and sattvic state of intellect is named in this way. Pragya, dharana, dhriti and many other terms they use for it. Little by little let him attain to quietude by the intellect held firmly. Here dhriti means firmly, but dhriti itself is such state of the intellect which never seconds. That is how it is called firmness, steadiness. Having made the mind establish itself in the self, let him not think of anything around. Na kinchidapi chintayat. What is that kinchit? Anything of the sense objects. They are to be thought over. The thoughts go to have contact with the sense objects. That is the way they fulfill their desires. So, they are now stopped. We shall see it elaborately tomorrow. Enough for today. Hari Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadguru Bhagavan ki jai. Satchidananda Bhagavan ki jai. Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. गीता माता की जय।